Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. Two, yo, yeah, 1, 2. Yo, Volo had to go through a lot just to this. Yeah, I know I'm late. Late to the party. Trying to figure out, like, yo, man, this is crazy, yo. Uh, Technical difficulties, you know? And it's the poor eyesight. I can't, you know what I mean? And I don't even know what I was doing, but I think I'm online, so I'm doing mic checks and everything right now. I know I said I was going to be on at 10:30, but there was a conflict in the software and the stream yards, and I'm trying to do it on a right now. I'm having a real hard time seeing white background with black letters. Like I can see black backgrounds with white letters a lot better. Like my my white on black is better than my white than my black on white right now. If that what I'm saying, and therein is just for like that. It's the order. You know what I'm saying? Order matters. And that's been the education. You know what I mean? And of that I've been trying to help people understand when it comes to color theory. Right? I'm not colorblind, but colors aren't vibrant to me right now. And like I said, it's better when it's black. I mean, when it's white on a black background or white on a black canvas. The other way around, a white canvas isn't helpful to me right now, and it's frustrating. You know what I mean? Because it's too bright. Therefore, my pupil either opens up too much, and I can't. Everything gets whitewashed, and it's not cool. Like going through this is very crazy, and I'm hoping to get back to the eye doctor real soon, but I got to get to the other doctors, and this is a whole bunch of mess going on, and I mean, society's like, get back to work, you lazy bum. Like that's why I was bugged out. That's why I'm sitting here laughing. Y'all really don't know what a blind person has to go through. Like, and you know what I mean? And as I'm walking with my fellow people, what I mean, my fellow people that whose vision impaired, you know what I mean? It's like, yo, man, I feel for you. I feel for us. You know what I mean? Mine is bad, you know what I mean? But I've been having, I had bad eyesight from the beginning, Um, there's still a chance that, you know what I mean? Like, it's all in God's hands, and hopefully he can guide the doctors to be able to, you know, get some vitamins in my eyes or something, and then correct the vision so that I can get back to 2020 vision. You know what I mean? In one eye at least. So there's still hope, but this is very, very difficult, and what I mean, and what I mean, my son was the only, shout out to my son C4 boom. uh he's like the only one that's been helping me these past 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what I mean, it's like you're hating his mother, and it's like, no, I forgive her. Like that's, what I mean, that's easy. Like I mean, she's been through a lot too. She lost both her parents in these past couple years, and what I mean, her dad, couple more than a couple years ago, but her mom, the past almost, it's going on 2 years now. Um, it's I mean, it's been rough on her, and what I mean, I try to help, but it's society is on some anti-black racism. And it's funny because it's now it's the tethers pointing at the foundational Black Americans like myself talking about we're the one that's doing the anti-Black racism, and it's like, nah, dude, like it ain't us. Like just because we saying, you know what I mean, and we sipping coffee and tea like Haitians, like can't help you, family. Like it's like we need y'all to help the Haitians. Like nah, Roland, we can't help the Haitians, yo. Like yeah, I mean, they gotta help themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, their country is a beautiful. Like, right next door is the Dominican Republic. Is a beautiful country. I've been there, right? Yeah, it wasn't. You know what I mean? It wasn't America. Like, I felt a certain way seeing like the military at the airport, and then while we driving, we seeing like military. Like we driving past a whole bunch of military places, and we went from, Punta Cana to Punta whatever, you know what I mean? And I've grown up my whole life thinking Punta was a bad word. You know what I'm saying? Like the name of these cities is like, I got to look up the name of the cities and stuff. Or even cities, you know what I mean? The resort that we was at, I think was at Punta Cana or Punta Cana or something like that. And I'm beautiful, like, you know what I'm saying. But we just stayed on the reservation. It was a little, it was a casino that we caught the bus to. You could see the casino from the Whistler, but it was a nice ride. You know what I mean? It was a bus that you had to take up there, and then you had to make sure you ain't miss that bus because now you got to walk from. It wasn't jungle, but it was like to walk from the Whistler, the casino to the resort was like, from the people that went before us was saying like, you don't want to do that. Like it's lions and tigers out there or something. Like, all right, you know what I mean? And then it was like, yeah, you really don't want to go in town. Like, well, I don't want to go in town. Like, yeah, just stay on the resort. Like, all right, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not, you know what I mean? It's just, but then when you do hear of and it is foundational Black Americans that go then they go off the resort and then they never seen again, and it's like, well, what happened, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the story that we got out of what's Theo's name, rest in peace, Michael Jamal Warner, you know what I mean, who I mean, I think we like, maybe he might be a year older than me. I think he might be 1970 baby or 71. Like we exact same, you know what I mean? Like we the exact same Gen Xer, you know what I mean? So, and we favor, you know what I mean? If me and Theo was standing next to each other, it's like, yo, like me, Theo, and Ice Cube was like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, well, you can see that they kind of, you know what I mean, on the same, or whatever, like, you know what I mean? Our lineage is foundational Black American, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, African American, stop. Kenyan American, stop. That's the issue we still having with a bunch of these Pan-Africanists, and they point in that foundation of Black Americans saying that we anti-Black racists. Like, yo, man, y'all got to stop that, yo. Like, y'all think it's cute and funny, you know what I'm saying? And then that way it's, you know what I'm saying? They like Kanye West because Kanye West is a foundational Black American, you know what I mean? But they, Trump's first term, we got pictures of Kanye's basically in Trump's lap. like he's his son, you know what I mean? Like, daddy, you made it and you're the president. Like, and it's the cutest thing, you know what I'm saying? And everybody, you know what I mean, all of the basically we're calling them tethers now. It's like, see how much hatred is in their heart against Republicans, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, we get it, but y'all hatred towards Republicans is so extreme. It's like, yo, you do know Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, and then the other one that I use is Carter G. Woodson. Those three, like, that's the fundamental definition of the foundational Black American Republican, right? Like those three are the reasons we got the 13, 14, 15 amendments, except for Carter G. Woodson, who was a younger. He's the younger one out of the you know what I mean? He wasn't, you know, Frederick Douglass and Booker T was born in slavery. Like they was born slaves, you know, but barely had birth dates because they just, you know, hey, you're an American, like you're a slave and get to work. But they, you know, was able to, you know, escape, you know, be freed, etc., get their work, get their freedom, or etc., just like Sojourner Truth. So that's why I'm using those four as all right. Those four are the, you know, the foundational Black American that we're talking about. That, and that's why Trump, when Trump said that platinum plan, though this is my lineage, you saying 500 billion so that I can start a Black business, right? I can be the owner of my own business because that's what y'all been promising us. And then Biden came in and opened up the floodgates. And now I found myself back in the same situation that I was under Clinton, Bush, Obama. You know what I mean? Because they was all doing the same thing of you got to work your way to the top, but you can, you know what I mean? They can fire you for sneezing, or they can, you know what I mean? Or you got women and you bump into them and that's sexual harassment and you get you fired. Like, yo, y'all got to stop that lying. Like, you know what I mean? So I kind of told the story about Desiree, the last episode, who was my shift supervisor. And she was just upset because, I mean, she was in her bag, you know, women be in their bags, you know what I'm saying? So she came in her bag and, you know what I mean? And I knew she was messing with Miz, and it's a different Miz. That's what I'm saying, Mike, but there's a whole different other Mike. You know, you say Mike is like 100 Mikes, you know what I mean? Shout out to my man Miz from KU though, MG, who's in, you know what I mean? He's a broadcaster. He is part of the Black media, but he works for Fox. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like he works for the enemy and he tries to put that hip hop spin to it. He does represent it. You know what I mean? So he does it on TikTok and not TikTok, on he's an Instagrammer. You know what I mean? So Mike G's be on Instagram like, you know, hey, I was driving down Broad Street, I got that $100 ticket. So all I can do is teach him like, get off Broad Street, yo. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, his persona on Instagram is real, and so his persona when he gets to Fox is real. And so now he's in front of the camera, and I'm loving what he's doing. All I can do is hit the like button and keep it moving. But you know what I mean? He's a foundational Black American, but his dad has Trinidadian roots. You know what I'm saying? So it is like, yeah, he's not a tether. He's from New York. Like he's the culture. He is hip hop culture. You know what I'm saying? He's a foundational Black American. Yes, he has you know, Trinidadian roots, just like Malcolm X. But y'all taking this, you know what I mean? It's not FBA that's taking it to that extreme of, you know, so you foundational Black American. That's his frat. He's not even his frat brother, because Roland Martin's an alpha, Mike's a Q. You know what I'm saying? So I love Qs. I lived. It was me, Miz, and Dr. Vert. You know what I'm saying? And Vert was a Kappa. So it was like, but I was more of like, if you see the first Spike Lee movie, School Days, I was more like that. I wasn't. I wasn't. I was going to be a Kappa. You know what I mean? So when Vert, when the three the hard way, when, you know what I mean, it was like me, G, like, you know what I mean, and Mark, I think, was another one. Like it was like 7 or 8 of us that wanted to do it together, but those 3 brothers was able to go and do it. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, yo, we all rooted for them. They did it. You know what I mean? We felt as though it was, hey, good job. Whenever they went down to Millersville or whatever, we rode with them, and it was like we were kind of honorary kind of a thing. But, you know, we knew we weren't frat, but y'all handle y'all business. We representing Kutztown, you know what I mean? And we going to grow our culture, Kutztown culture versus Millersville culture. And my brother, he went to Millersville with the roots and everything. and Spawn Vicious, shout out to him, and Clarence, and I mean, I gotta get hip hop names for a lot of my brother's friends. But what I mean, we was all the same culture, you know what I'm saying? And if I say, you know what I'm saying, and my brother say, you know what I'm saying, at the same time, it's like who is who, right? Every time I say it, I'll be like, I gotta stop sounding like my brother. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why that's why I think moms get a little upset with us saying it, because I can properize my voice and start to articulate it in such a way that it's more like I'm from England, like Barack Obama does. But it's like, Barack, you know what I mean? Like you hung out with the culture and you know what I mean? That's why I get a little critical of you, Joe, because you 1960s isn't baby boomer, like I was trying to be explaining, you know what I mean? But I'm just doing mic check. Let me see if I can hit this right here. There it is. So I wanted to see if y'all hear that. Let me hit this right here to see what this go here.
Let's see if the voices change a little bit too. You know what I mean? Because I'm just making sure that the sound card is working and hip hop is real. It's real.
I can't even do a guy's voice, you know what I'm saying? Pause. And I mean, they really sound more like a kid than well, it could be a girl, but there it is.
So you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to do sound checks and everything, and then I hook the MP back up, and you know what I mean? I'm running a little Guilty Simpson loop in the background with who is this? You might not even be able to hear it. Hey, what is? Oh, geez, I'm all over the place. But I know that's why a lot of people just hear me and be like, "Well, what is he talking about?" I'm talking about the same things that I've been rapping about. Religion is speech. It's free speech. It's the freedom of speech. Politics is history. Science. What does that make science? Is what we trying to, you know what I mean? Because if I say something like science is life, then it's what's the mathematics behind that? And I'm going, now we talking about the hip hop mathematics, and how they relate to gods and the earths and the mathematics that I mean. I used to just be in the corner chilling, you know what I mean, while my brothers would, you know what I mean, Spawn Vicious and Hawk and even Tariq, you know what I mean. But I don't think Tariq was ever. What happened with that? Okay. And you know what I mean, Garen. I'm trying to remember everybody that was a part of the Minds of Soul. We be at the what was that? Denny Street? No, that wasn't Denny. Dang, I might be telling myself with Denny Street, right? Not Denny Street. It was more in Logan, not Logan. It was right off of here. Oh, dang, I forget the name of it. I forget the name of the house. They had a house, and I would go by there, and they had, my brother. They had the equipment hooked up and everything, and it was 4 brothers or 5 brothers. So it was another brother too up in there. I would come through, and they laid some of the dopest hip hop. It was like the getaway that, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's the underground album. And it's funny to see their albums still being sold overseas, you know what I mean, as the Minds of Soul, you know what I mean? And my brother, he would send me a picture and be like, yo, that one sold for thousands of dollars. It's like, yo, well, how much did you get? How much y'all get? Well, that's a whole nother story. They done bootlegged you over and overseas, and that's how hip hop is like worldwide. You know what I mean? So yeah, when you seeing Kanye now, and it's like Kanye is had two or 3 little concerts, and he's making millions of dollars off it because they selling out, and people just loving his concerts and everything. It is a fallback to like, yo, it transcends what they try to promote it as. Like they tried to push Kanye as this foundational Black American anti-Black racist that supports Donald Trump, and it's like, you know what I mean, that's anti-Semitic. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, why y'all doing? So when Trump come out of his voice talking about some Allah, all I could do was like, hey, Trump, you bugging, yo. But hey, freedom of speech. Religion is freedom of speech, yo. Right? Politics is history. You know what I mean? Whenever you have to reference something, you know what I mean? It's you got to go back in time to reference it. So all I can do is reference the four foundational Black Americans who are the fundamental definition of what we and who we are in our lineage and how they represented when we came out. They started segregating us so that you can only have one or two token Negroes in your company or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And they've been desegregating us. That's the creation. Is actually, we think it's segregation, which was us migrating, forming our own communities, and they come and they burn down the city like Tulsa, where they'll inject a whole bunch of immigrants. You know what I mean? And when we open with open arms, hey, there's 5 Black businesses here. We'll give up 1 or 2 of our businesses so that you can open up the Chinese store, so that you can open up the Bilal fish store. Like, you know what I mean? So as we did it over the years, now it was like down to 1 Black business, you know what I mean? And that's where we're at now, where it's only like 1 Black business and all the other businesses is foreign. And it's like, yo, what happened to all the Black businesses? You know what I mean? But they kind of doing the same thing in the white neighborhood. But white, the quote unquote racism for white supremacy fighting back. Like, nah, you know what I mean? And they not bold about it. They're like, yo, Jesus is Lord. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, we should be able to say Jesus is Lord at our business. You know what I mean? We don't deny y'all saying, Allah is God. You know what I mean? But when y'all start saying, I am Allah is Lord, I can see why, you know what I mean, Christians can get upset because they just follow the word. They don't, you know what I mean? We don't say I'm Christ, right? We just say Christ said somebody smack you, turn the other cheek instead of smacking the shit out of them, right? That's what I'm supposed to do. But like Vola was trying to explain to y'all last time, yeah, I turn my cheek. I ain't going to just, you know what I mean, smack you and then grip you up and choke you to death, right? I might, hey, why did you do that? You know what I mean? And it's, if you huffing and puffing, like, yo, bitch ass nigga, put your hands up. No, smack me again, nigga, right? I'll fight with my hands down, you know what I mean? But Ali used to do that, right? Put his hands down. And that's when he starts asking him, you know what I mean, what's my name? Right? What's my name? What's my name? You know what I'm saying? We got to know that fight. So we'll get more into boxing. It's not my favorite. It was up there at number 1 at one point. Football was up there at one point. Basketball was number 1 at one point. Baseball was. I think I'm gonna put baseball back at number 1 right now, but I don't know. The Phillies is a rough start right now, but we'll see. I think they play again tomorrow. They lost yesterday. The Sixers, we'll figure that out one day. Eagles, that's 2 then. Nah, Eagles still number 1. Eagles number 1, Phillies number 2. But order matters. Like, that's what I'm trying to help y'all understand. You know what I mean? It's, coin is heads or tails. Call it in the air, right? But y'all still playing the game like, what's his name? Two-Face. What's Two-Face name again? Oh, geez. Harvey Dent. That's Batman, one of Batman's arch enemies, right? He had a coin that was both sides was heads. Like I choose my own fate. Heads, you know what I'm saying? So he'll call heads every time and we'll flip for it or whatever. But, y'all, if y'all know the story at the end, you know what I mean? he burned half of his body and became just as evil or even more evil than the Joker. He was the lead prosecutor for Gotham City, and now he was became one of Batman's number one arch enemy. You know what I mean? Some might put him ahead of the Joker, but yeah, not Joker's number one. Then the Penguin, I guess, but we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? It's order matters is what I guess I'm trying to convey with this one right here. I don't even know what I called this video. I just threw a name up, and because I just want to jump on, do some sound checks. I guess reiterate where I'm going with these talks and everything. I'm running Mario Kart World in the background. I can see it pretty okay. I probably wouldn't be able to race the best I could because I do have a corrective lens in right now, but it's still. I still got to do other things because it's still a little whitewash for me, and that's where Volo's getting a little upset and hoping, I can get things better. You know what I mean? Or there's some kind of lens or kind of glasses that I can wear that'll help me see lights and darkness a little better. But this is a crazy experience going through. Make sure y'all stay healthy, eat right, exercise. Diet and exercise is very important. You know what I mean? I guess that's what I'm trying to convey as an old head. You know what I'm saying? Like the baby boomers, they just telling me, don't get old. It's played out now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so I don't even say it to the youngins. You know what I mean? It's just, enjoy life, love God, respect the Lord, seek wisdom. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm doing. I was on with my god brother. Shout out to him, the bishop, and I'm calling him the bishop right now because he gave us a lesson last night. I was on listening to his Wednesday. I do his Wednesdays Bible studies, and then I see him, Greg. That's my other cousin. I have a lot of cousins. Because my great grandfather had 20. Well, no, actually, yeah, he had like 20 kids, right? And then his wives. He had 2 wives. The second one had 2 other kids, or 2 or 3 other kids by another gentleman. So the Fultons, shout out to my Fulton, cousins. So the Flemings and the Fultons, we from the Carolinas, South Carolinas, and Kingstree, and we moved. A lot of us moved all over the map. So it was us. We up in New York. We up in Philadelphia. That's where my dad and side came, and some of my cousins from the other side of the family came, and you know what I mean. And it was just 4 years. Was it 4 years ago? 5 years ago? It was before Biden. We had 2 of the most beautiful family reunions that I ever. You know what I mean? So it was time to get to other family reunions, and I'm gonna try to next year. I think I have the Garretts is trying to do one. I think, or they trying to do one this year. I think. I got to get information to see if I can make it, but I'm sure somebody will come scoop me up and bring me in, and I can get a hot dog or something. But there it is. So Volo's still going to try to make some appearances, and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna try to set back up and come back on at 4:30 like I promised, and see how all that works. Because I was trying to do a little thing with the chess game. That's what I was setting up also, and was having issues because the game was acting like it didn't want me to show y'all the fool's checkmate. So, but we'll see. I'll talk more about that later on too. Let me end with that. I rap long more than long enough. One God, our Father, all the time, hip hop life, one love. Nothing beats a mother love, right? As God is love, hip hop is life. Time is precious, or it's an experience. Money, on the other hand, is nothing more than a fourth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist. Yeah, you can get to 120, but I'm 3 times that. That's 360. And please don't take that with any kind of hatred. Anything beyond 360 is 721. What is the next one? 1080. And then more circular illusions, right? And in between the degrees is infinite degrees, right? In that real mathematical sense, just like this infinite, numbers or sub numbers, I guess we want to call them, or as we still introduce more and more mathematics between 0 and 1. But we'll use 0 and 1 for now as the binary code, or should we say the art of logical thinking. And we're going to still use those commandments, God's commandments, as the laws of reasoning or the law of reasoning. So make sure y'all, do that the right way. You know what I'm saying? What else? Anything else? I guess that's it. So let me click on this right here, and then I'll be out of here. Yeah. Oh, Bobby Womack. Yeah, that's Bobby Womack in the background. Shout out to Bobby Womack. Yeah, I know. Bobby had a, we'll talk more about the gossip and everything of Bobby Womack, and we'll get back to that too, because there's a lot of the baby boomers y'all got a lot of y'all got a lot of .dlg, .ddi, PDF files to answer for too. So back when they called the gays and lesbians in the 60s with the Daisy Age, or what was that thing called? Y'all was called hippies. And therein there's a difference between hippies and what we hip hoppers. That's what we trying to say. You know what I mean? So respect our culture, and because we respect y'all, but we're not asking for y'all. We're not, but I'm not trying to get back on that talk again of judging. You know what I mean? I'm not judging. I'm just enjoying. So I wish harmony and happiness for you all, right? And that's Allah. That's one. God is understood.